Explain again the idea of this exercise. You don't understand. I'm boring myself to death doing these things. I like to be wild, to be more light, but I have to do this, practicing the same thing all the time and still to be aware. So I'm just sharing it with you. The idea is we scan the body the way we scanned before with our attention. We don't need hands to scan our body or to be aware of our body. We can use the attention without the hands. But the hands, we use them to be vehicles for the energy, so the energy can run through them. So the intent of this exercise is that the two hands are connected with the emptiness, with attention, with intention, which means that if I see Nicoletta now on the screen, my left hand goes to Nicoletta and comes back to the right, my right hand. So I'm connected to Nicoletta not only with my attention, but also with my hands. And when we do it to somebody else or to ourselves, sometimes we feel energy or different kinds of different types of energy. Something is moving. We become more sensitive so we can use it from afar and also while touching. Okay, like when we do trance healing, we really are aware of the people without, we don't need anything, but we can do it also while touching them. If we massage them or do shiatsu to them and just connect our hands on the body, we can feel things, something is more very powerful happens then. Okay, I'm just describing. Okay, so what we do is the 3 steps before, we do it quickly. And once we are comfortable, one hand will be on the navel and one hand is going to scan the body. We use the same pattern always, not because it's important, the order of things, but just to make it the same so it will not be difficult to remember. Okay, and today, every time I say we do it quicker, and it's not quick enough. We can really do it in half a minute, but we'll do it 7 minutes, okay? So the first step is to be aware of your body. Make sure you're comfortable, be aware of your body. Second step, connect to the earth. Inside and outside. The third step, create rapport with all the other participants. We don't have to deal with it with our mental aspect. We just put in our intent there. And now left hand on the navel center. The eyes, you can close them or leave them open in peripheral view, which I will usually do. But it's each one of you has their own preferences. And the right hand is above the crown. So we could remember the intent is the two hands are connected. And we don't know how the energy is, how this emptiness is connected, but it's always through our body, physical and energetic body, okay? Okay, so first get the impression of the crown center, if you can. And then we move the hand down the axis in front of the body. So you can see where there's more energy, less energy, maybe different types of energy. We just know things, we observe, that's all. And when we go below our pelvis, there's energy between our legs. So we still scan it until we get to the floor between our feet. When we get to the floor, beneath our feet. We pause for several seconds to have impression of the whole body. And then we go back up. And it's very interesting to totally understand that if you go from Paris to London, it's a different route than going from London to Paris. That's what happens when you go upwards. It's totally different. Until we get to the top of the head. And again, search for the crown center, see if you can feel anything. And if you feel the crown center, try to pull it upwards a bit. So it will pull the spine upwards. And we continue to the back of the head, all the way down. And then we scan the head anti-clockwise from right to left. If you feel like staying a bit longer in certain places, allow yourself. You don't have to be the same rhythm as everybody, even though it's practical for us to practice together if possible. And when we finish, we go to the back of the head, we go down to the back of the neck, and we scan the neck again from right to left. Until we get to the left shoulder. Remember, you don't have to be exactly over the body part or scanning. The intent is good enough. And we scan the left shoulder going to the shoulder joint. And then we go down the arm all the way to the tip of the fingers of the left hand. And when we get to the tip of the fingers, we pause again for several seconds to have impression of the whole body. And then we continue going back up. Until we reach the shoulder joint. And we scan the left shoulder again, and then we go down on the left side of the body, down from the shoulder to the hip, to the hips, to the waistline. And once we're through with the left side, we move to the right shoulder. Again, it's not as comfortable, but the intent is what directs our attention. Okay, so we scan the right shoulder, and then we go down on the right side of the body from the right shoulder to the waistline below. And once we get to the waistline and we move the right hand to the navel center, now the right hand is on the navel center, and the left hand begin the same way as we done in the beginning. Try to get in touch with the crown center, see if you can feel it. And then we go down the axis. See, we've done it before with the right hand, but it's different when we do it with the left hand. Different impressions. And we go down all the way to the floor, to the area between the feet. And once we get there, we pause again for several seconds to have impression of our whole body. You see, when we scan with a hand, the attention is more concentrated. And when we pause, we have a more global attention of ourselves. And then we go back up. Go all the way up until we make it to the top of the head. And again, search for the crown center. Pull it up a bit if possible with your intent. And then we continue backwards, same way we done it with the right hand. And we scan it from left to right, clockwise. If you happen to have a strong impression in certain parts of the body, you can later scan them on your own. Maybe there's something to fix. And when we end the head, we go down to the back of the neck and we scan the neck again, but this time from left to right. Until we make it to the right shoulder. So we continue to the right shoulder, towards the shoulder joint, going down the arm, the elbow, forearm, the wrist, the hand, the fingers, down to the tip of the fingers. And there we pause again and have impression of our whole body. And we continue going back up. Until we reach the shoulder, the right shoulder. And this time, once we scan the right shoulder, we go down the right side of the body, going down to the waistline. By the way, the hand is in front, but we get impression of our back also, and maybe behind our back, the energy there. And once we reach the waistline, we move to the left shoulder again. And we scan the left shoulder again, going down the left side of the body again. Going down. The hips. So when we get down to the waistline, we change hands again. Left hand on the navel, and with the right hand, we scan from the left hip joint, going to the right, scanning the pelvis. Remember, there's a lot of energy stuck there. Allow it to move, to begin to circulate by your scanning. And when we reach the right hip joint, make sure you scan the whole area before you go down the thigh, going down the leg all the way to the tip of the toes. You don't have to lean forward, just use your intent to connect. And again, when we reach the tip of the toes, we pause for several seconds to have impression of the whole body. And then we continue going back up. Until we make it to the right hip joint, from where we continue going left to the navel center, where we change hands again. Now the right hand is in the navel, and with the left hand we begin to scan from the right hip joint going to the left. You see, we scan the pelvis several times with both hands, and still there's more to open up there. Be patient with yourself. And again, when we get to the left hip joint, we go down the leg to the toes. And when we get to the tip of the toes, we pause again for several seconds to have impression of our whole body. And then we come back when upwards. Until we reach the hip joint, and from the left hip joint we continue to the navel center. So both hands now touch on the navel center. You can either leave the hands there or put them on the knees, whichever is more comfortable. And pay attention to your whole self. If your eyes are closed, allow them to gently open to a peripheral view. We end by using these 4 questions, just putting it into words. First one is my head more silent? Second is my sea of emotions more calm? Third is my body more relaxed? And the fourth is, do I feel some affection? Which means for me is my heart opened up a bit. Of course, you can practice this exercise at home any way you want. You can do it quickly or slowly. You can do it in different order, whatever. It's a good practice, I think. And see if you can still feel the other people in a way.